The research station orbiting Kepler 442b had been silent for 3 days when Anna's distress beacon finally reached the nearest coalition outpost. Jack volunteered immediately despite the warnings, despite the rumors of what lurked in the abandoned facilities of the Outer Rim. The Void Stalker had been hunting sentient species for over 12 million years, long before humans had crawled from the oceans of Earth. It was older than most civilizations, a remnant of an epoch when the galaxy was darker, hungrier, and infinitely more savage. The creature existed in the spaces between understanding, part energy, part matter, entirely predator. Jack's ship docked with the station at 0400 hours. The airlocks hissed open, revealing corridors painted in emergency lighting and the copper scent of fear. Anna's last transmission had been garbled, terrified. "It's here. It's in the walls. It knows we're thinking." He found the bodies first. Dr. Yamani from Tau Ceti, his crystalline body shattered into 1,000 reflecting pieces. Commander Thros, the Valkyrian warrior who could bend steel with his mind, reduced to a dried husk against the wall. The stalker fed on more than flesh. It consumed consciousness itself, leaving behind empty shells that had once housed brilliant minds. Jack's tactical display showed one life sign remaining. Section C, the observation deck. Anna. He moved through the station like a shadow, every instinct screaming at him to turn back. The stalker's presence was palpable, a pressure against his thoughts, probing for weakness. Most species broke here, their minds cracking open like eggs for the creature to feast upon. But humans were different. Humans had clawed their way up from a death world where everything, weather, predators, even the plants, had tried to kill them. They had survived ice ages and supervolcano eruptions. They had stared into the abyss of their own extinction a dozen times and spat in its face. Jack felt the stalker's attention shift toward him, a vast and ancient intelligence that had outlived stars. It whispered in frequencies that bypassed ears entirely, speaking directly to the primal brainstem. "Submit. You are prey. You have always been prey." He smiled and kept walking. The observation deck was a cathedral of glass and steel, looking out onto the burning face of Kepler 442b. Anna stood at the center, her back straight, her research tablet still clutched in one hand. The stalker had manifested partially into real space, a nightmare of too many angles, eyes that were also mouths, limbs that bent through dimensions human mathematics couldn't properly describe. It loomed over her, frozen mid-strike. Jack understood immediately why it had stopped. Anna wasn't running. She wasn't screaming. Her eyes, brilliant, defiant, absolutely unafraid, were locked onto the creature's central mass. In her gaze was something the stalker had perhaps never encountered in 12 million years of hunting. Recognition without submission. She saw it for exactly what it was, and she was not impressed. "You're late," Anna said without looking away from the creature, her voice directed at Jack. "I've been keeping our friend here entertained for the past 6 hours." "How?" Jack moved to her side, his weapon trained on the stalker even though he knew conventional arms were useless. "I did what humans do best," Anna replied. "I got curious instead of scared. It feeds on fear, on the prey response, but I started analyzing it, taking notes, theorizing about its evolutionary biology." She held up her tablet, covered in equations and sketches. "It's magnificent, really. A quantum predator that exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously." The stalker trembled, its form flickering. For the first time in eons, it was experiencing something new. Uncertainty. Jack understood the genius of Anna's approach. The creature had evolved to hunt prey, beings that ran, hid, or fought in panic. But Anna had done something unprecedented. She had turned the encounter into a research opportunity. She had looked at the galaxy's apex predator and thought, "I wonder how that works." It was the most human response imaginable. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Anna continued, her voice almost gentle. 12 million years of evolution, and you've perfected the art of the hunt. But you've never encountered a species that evolved on a planet where everything was a predator, where we had to become something more than predators or prey. We became observers, thinkers. We turned our fear into fascination. The stalker's form began to destabilize, folding back through dimensions. Its countless eyes fixed on Anna with something that might have been recognition, or respect, or perhaps the closest thing its ancient mind could comprehend to fear. Because Anna's eyes said what her words confirmed. "I am not your prey. I am your student. And perhaps one day, I'll understand you better than you understand yourself. Jack watched as the creature retreated, phasing out of real space entirely. In 12 million years of hunting, it had learned every responsive prey across 1,000 worlds. But it had never learned what to do when something looked back at it with scientific curiosity instead of terror. Did we just scare off the galaxy's oldest predator with a research paper? Jack asked. Anna finally lowered her tablet, a tired smile crossing her face. We didn't scare it. We confused it. That might be worse. She looked at Jack, her eyes bright despite the exhaustion. Humans don't fit into the predator-prey dichotomy that the rest of the galaxy understands. We're the species that caught fire and decided to keep it. That looked at the stars and decided to visit them. That meets the impossible and asks, how does it work? They stood together in the observation deck as rescue ships appeared on the horizon, their lights cutting through the darkness. Somewhere in the spaces between dimensions, the stalker was retreating to depths it hadn't visited in millennia, processing an encounter that had shattered its understanding of the universe. It had learned something today. That the most dangerous predator in the galaxy wasn't the one with the sharpest claws or the oldest hunger. It was the one who looked at danger and felt curiosity, the one who turned fear into questions and questions into knowledge. It had learned about humanity, and the galaxy would never be quite the same